everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Serena and thank you so much for stopping by. So today is a video collaboration with the SisketEars, and they asked me and a couple of other channels to see if we wanted to share our traditions. So the point of it was that we would have different countries and we would share our traditions for Christmas. So Christmas around the world is what they called it, and I thought that was such a great idea because everybody always has different traditions. So I'll be talking about what I did as a kid and what I do now as an adult, as well as some of the foods and the baking and everything kind of in between. The first thing I remember as a kid is I loved Christmas. I still love Christmas. Christmas is always my favorite holiday, but I was so excited. I was always snooping for gifts. I remember we always had Santa gifts, and then we always had gifts that my parents gave me. So whenever my parents gave us gifts, they would always hide it in the closet, and we knew that's where they were. So I would always try to sneak into the closet to look and see what gifts that they had got us. And I remember being so excited on Christmas morning that I would wake up my brother at like an awful hour at like 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that. And I would tell him, like, I checked, Santa came, you have to wake up. And he was always the person that would sleep in. So he was not an early riser, and he was like, no, let me sleep. So that being said, one time, I don't know what time it was, but I know I made him wake up early. I made him go upstairs with me where the gifts were, and all we could do was stare at them, just because my mom said that we weren't allowed to open any gifts before 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, or it might have been 6 o'clock. I think it might have been 6 o'clock actually. We weren't allowed to open any gifts before 6 o'clock because she wanted to document it. She wanted to make sure she had all these pictures, but we were allowed our stocking. So for however many hours we were upstairs, all we could do was go through our stockings. And I think about it now, and it's so funny to me that I wake up my brother at 4 o'clock so we can stare at the gifts for like 2 hours. All we have is our stocking. I mean, there was, you know, chocolates and whatnot, and I'm sure we were all hyped up on sugar right before, you know, 6 o'clock came. Then my mom and dad were about getting ready to get up. But I do remember that, and I'm sure that my brother and my mom or dad have the same kind of stories as well. So some of the traditions we did as a kid is that we were fortunate enough to have 2 sets of grandparents. So one year we would go to my mom's side, and then the next year we would go to my dad's side. And we always had so much fun with all our cousins and our aunts and uncles, and it was just always such a fun time. And I'm still really close with a lot of my cousins, which is really, really nice. One of the things that I remember specifically whenever I went to my grandparents is I had gotten a karaoke machine one year, and I'm telling you, I made everybody play with that karaoke machine. And this is how long ago, like, it had like the cassette tapes. So you would play the song and then you were able to record yourself on a cassette. I know I'm dating myself, but it was just so much fun. And I'll always remember one of my aunts playing with it, and I wish I could find that cassette. I'm sure it's around here somewhere because I know I wouldn't have thrown away. But it was just so much fun getting together and seeing everybody having a great time. At these gatherings, we always had food. Like, there was always so much food. And it was generally a turkey supper that we would have. So somebody would make a turkey, somebody would make potatoes, somebody would make, like, everybody would just kind of bring a little bit of everything. Just kind of like a potluck, but there was so much food. And and one of the traditions too is, since we are Acadian from the Atlantic, and we always had what's called meat pie, and I'll see if I can find a picture of it or the recipe, and I'll link it down below. But we always had meat pie for breakfast. So we would wake up in the morning, have a piece or two of meat pie, and then, you know, head off to our grandparents' house for the day. So now that I'm an adult, we don't do that anymore, but we still get together. We still have our family get-togethers. Now this year was a little different because of COVID, but we actually still do get together with all my aunts and my uncles and the cousins, and it's just really a lot of fun. But like I said, COVID this year, there's just a lot of things that we couldn't do. So I'm hoping it gets back to a little bit more normal, and then, you know, we'll be able to have our family gatherings again. Another thing that I remember is baking. My mom would always bake, and I love to bake. I don't like to cook, but I love to bake. So one of the things is always making tons and tons of sweets for Christmas. And what we decided to do for the last, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years, is me and my friends actually do a bake exchange. We do one sweet. So if I decided to do, you know, like a Rice Krispie square or something, I would make enough for 5 friends. And then they would do whatever they're doing enough for 5 friends. So at the end of it, you end up with 5 different kinds of baked goods, and then you just get together and you eat some, and it's just so much fun just to get together with friends. So that's a tradition that we started a little while ago, and it's still going, which is great. Another thing that I really like to do is go look at lights. I love Christmas lights. They are so pretty. They make me so happy, and some of them are just gorgeous. We have an area probably about 40 minutes from where I live, and it is for charity, and it is by donation. If you go look at the lights, you can put in a donation. It is not mandatory, but it's nice to do because it is for charity. But this house is all decked out. I'll put some pictures of the house that I'm talking about, as well as other ones that we've seen along the way. Like, they're always so amazing. We go with friends, or sometimes I'll go by myself just to see, but usually you get either a hot chocolate or an apple cider, and you go and you just look at all the Christmas lights, and it's just really nice. So now that I'm an adult and Christmas traditions are changed from since I was a kid, we always go to my boyfriend's parents' house on the 24th. So they always have finger foods, and they always have just like finger foods and snacks and everything, and we just kind of celebrate Christmas with them. And then this year we're going to my parents on the 25th. Just gonna do the same thing, just exchange our gifts and just hang out and just be there with our family. And before that as well is I go to my brother and sister-in-law's place with my mom and dad, and we go celebrate Christmas with them a little bit early, just because they live a little bit farther away. They live about an hour and a half, so sometimes on Christmas Day it gets a little bit hectic. So we always go and celebrate Christmas with them a couple of days earlier, and then we'll usually get together again during the holidays. So that's really nice. So we kind of get to celebrate Christmas 2-3 times, which is a lot of fun. So that's a little bit about my traditions and what we do here. And I should have said, for those who don't know, I am from Canada, so I'm not sure if my traditions are the same as other people's, but this is what we do in my family. So I want to thank the SisketEars for letting me participate in this, because it's been a lot of fun going back through memory lane, just reminiscing about some of the olden days as well as the new stuff that we're doing. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day, and I will see you soon. Bye!